How long does the laryngospasm last?
I think it's all water dependent, temperature dependent, patient dependent. To give you an absolute, say, hey, it's gonna last 33 seconds, 0.9 milliseconds.
No, I meant like, is it gonna last
Short term.
short term, or is it gonna last long term?
So short term, so as
So-
you start to oxygenate.
By the time we get there and think about intubating, wouldn't the laryngospasm?
Potentially, yeah, it would potentially be gone already.
Yeah.
Yep,
Or
you
by the
wouldn't
time
even-
you got an IV and sucks drawn up and pushed.
Yeah, because are these gonna be close to your area probably?
No,
Probably not, unless it's like right, I mean,
Yeah.
what's the water temperature of the river?
in the low 50s.
Okay,
In
is
the
that cold enough
Mackenzie.
to cause a
Yeah.
laryngospasm? No, we're down in the 30s. These are the cold water, Alaska, Michigan, Detroit style cold water temperature drowning things, okay? Okay.
What was
Yeah,
that
yeah.
last one?
Temporary after suffocation. Let's see.
Cardiac arrest.
Cardiac arrest,
Okay.
cardiac arrest. All right, so here you go. Here's your dry lung versus your wet lung. 15% of the cases are your dry lung of all drownings, 85% are your wet lung. So, because most of the water is not cold enough to cause that laryngospasm to occur, okay? Asphyxiates, yep, we got that. Water into the lungs, yep, okay. So, oh, here we go. All kinds of bad stuff happens with freshwater lung damage, right?
Oh, vegetables.
Freshwater versus saltwater. Is there a big difference there? Oh, all right, well, let's talk about it. Freshwater. What is freshwater? Is it better to drown in freshwater or saltwater?
Salt.
Okay?
I don't really want to drown at all.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm glad somebody says like neither of them are better, okay? So with freshwater, what, explain to me, based on what this says, like in dumb person's thought process, what does this mean?
Would it be a hypotonic solution? So it's pulling stuff out of your cells and causing a rupture?
Okay. What's over
Right
here?
behind Andrew is
over
the
here?
fusion poster.
It should be.
It's the salt on the slug.
Salt on the slug.
It's a great poster, whoever made it.
So
Yeah.
water goes into the bloodstream, cells swell, and it lyses. Apoptosis.
Huh?
Water goes into the bloodstream, it causes all the cells to swell, and they lyse, or it's like apoptosis or something. They
Okay.
explode,
What do red blood cells normally do?
carry oxygen.
What are they doing now that there's a bunch of water in there?
Not exploding.
They're exploding and they have the inability to move that oxygen, right? So to dumb it down, like that, yeah? That's how I like to dumb things down, so that it makes sense instead of using a lot of big words and stuff like that. It's like basically, so your red blood cells have exploded because of the water that's in there, and so it doesn't have the ability to transfer any of that oxygen to and from, and it's basically overloaded with that water, okay? So, we go to resuscitate somebody. What's our goal? What are we trying to accomplish?
We're trying to get their heart back, but then we're gonna have to load them up with extra oxygen because they don't have red blood cells
So
to
if-
move that.
So if you take a big deep breath of water, okay, and you get all this water in there and it starts to blow up your red blood cells, is it blowing up every single red blood cell in your body?
No.
I mean, can you get to your red blood cells that are in your feet by breathing it in? Or do you still have red blood cells in your body that have the ability to exchange gases?
Yes.
You
You're
still
just
have-
gonna,
you still
you're gonna
have
circ-
some.
it's gonna circulate that good blood up to the top.
Eventually, right? Are we gonna have to suction to get some of that water?
Yeah.
And do we have to get some of that water back out of the system?
Right,
Yeah.
yeah, cause it's
Actually,
blocking.
the blood, it continues to encounter that water.
So you salt the skin.
Sorry, Corey was just texting me saying you guys are all getting Fs, so we need to fix that a little later. All right, what were you saying now?
Get the water out of the
Yeah.
lungs.
Okay, so we gotta get the water out, right? So it'll help with the ability to be able to oxygenate, okay?
So are we trying to get a tube in as fast as possible so we can end a tracheal suctioning?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so basically, because like, so what do we do, like, as people start to get their gag reflex and stuff back, like you watch in the movies, what happens? Oh, what happens, right?
They cop
The body makes the attempt to try and get some out. Do they get it all?
No.
No. So then what do? What
They roll
position do they
them on
put
the
them in?
side.
So, roll them into the recovery position, right? Because what is that doing? What is that?
Trying to get that water
What
out.
are we
Wow.
using?
Gravity.
Gravity, right? So we're using some of that. So can you put them upside down and like by their feet and shake
Yeah.
and try and get that
Depends
out?
on how small they are.
Right? I mean, if you think about theoretics, it's like, hey, you know, that might actually work, I think. But what can we do? We can drop our AT tube and just drop a little suction catheter in there, right? And we can suction out a lot of it that way, right? Because we're paramedics and we have those extra skills to be able to do that.
So would you just put the section longer than the tube?
No, because you don't want to just dangle that down past your tube. You want to still use your tube because when you create enough suction, what's going to happen at the end of your tube?
It'll
gonna
pull it
close
from
off.
deeper.
Because it has nowhere else to go, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's not going to leak out or anything like that, so you have that ability to be able to suction those out. Okay.
Would you kind of seal off the top, so you put it in and then kind of seal off the top so you have more of a
Vacuum?
vacuum?
Yeah. I mean, just depending on what I got the first couple times, I'm gonna try and create as much of a vacuum as I can, making sure not to like create too much of a vacuum on the lungs. Where I collapse a lung and then now I gotta do a needle decompression because now I've collapsed the lung. Okay? Oh, okay, so now we're saltwater. So how's this different?
Does it do the
Pulmonary
opposite
edema.
and make them shrivel?
So it pulls the water out of the blood,
Out of the blood and puts
And
fluid
so
in the
you-
lungs.
drown from your tissue in your body, the fluid in your body.
So you have somebody that goes out surfing, and it's kind of like we're gonna call it a near drowning. They come in, and they're like their partner that was out there with them drug them in, you know, did a little mouth to mouth, they're breathing again. You get there because the witness saw it happen. Now they're awake and talking to you.
Sweet,
They're like,
good job.
yeah, good. Hey, sign my refusal. Have a nice day.
Yep, nope.
Anybody? Anybody want to sign my refusal? Anybody? I just need one person, please. So why do we not, I know Martha said I'll do it. Why do we not want to have this person sign a refusal?
Because of the
The
pulmonary
salt in
edema
the
that's
lungs will
gonna
pull the fluid out of the
And what do we call that?
come. Dry drowning or
pulmonary edema.
Secondary drowning?
Secondary.
Okay, so it's not the initial drowning incident that occurred, but now they're going to drown based on pulmonary edema. Okay, so that's why water, fresh water,
So you give them like
It's a lot.
nitro and CPAP? To like keep the,
like right now as they're talking to me,
If
or
you
if they
found a
start to have
patient
symptoms?
secondary drowning,
so I'm hoping that you were smart enough to take them to the hospital the first time. Well, let's say theoretically you decided to sign.
I didn't know how
sign
long
it.
it takes to secondary drown.
Well, I mean, it takes a little while for that fluid shift to occur. So, like, let's say theoretically you said, hey, sign my refusal, have a nice day. And 2 hours later,
They call you.
they call you because they're unconscious or semi-conscious. And you're like, oh, dang it, I really wish I wrote my first chart better. Right? So now you got that. So now, full fluid, full of,
So now you're
Oh.
gonna ET and suction and try and get that salt water out. Because all that fluid,
so what would CPAP do to this?
it would push the water back in, but not the salt.
Okay, so what are you gonna end up with in your lungs then?
Extra salty water. Or extra, more salt.
Salty blood.
Salties, okay? So, I would probably, try and intubate this person depending on their condition. Make the attempt to suction to get the fluid out of the body completely versus pushing it back into, the body.
So basically any saltwater drowning needs to go to the hospital.
What do they do?
Any drowning at all needs to go to the hospital.
What do they do in the
What if
hospital?
it's like, what if it's just like I took a gulp and, cause it,
Saltwater, yes, I see what you're saying. So say near drowning. Hey, yeah, I was swimming at the pool, or let's go freshwater. Swimming in the river, boom, yeah, I took a bunch of inhalation, yada yada, passed out, my buddy pulled me good to go.
Yeah.
Right, can you still end up with some secondary drownings on those?
We're gonna go with
Fresh
yes.
water,
Do you think that they were able to get all of the amount of fluid out of their lungs that went in?
probably not.
Probably not, right? So you have that potential for a potential secondary drowning, not nearly as severe as with a saltwater, but you still have that ability. So anybody that has any sort of drowning potential, inhalation, they can end up with aspiration pneumonia, especially if they're swimming in these rivers around here. But they need to go to the hospital.
What do
Okay,
they,
so
how do they
transfer.
treat it at the hospital?
What's that?
What do they do at the hospital?
So diuretics potentially, depending on if it's salt water or fresh water. Basically, it's some monitoring, probably antibiotics, and monitoring, follow-up, have a plan set up for them. Probably gonna be admitted for a day or two, just to make sure that they don't transition into pulmonary edema.
Some of it's like that, it's still conscious but still struggling to breathe. Would that be a candidate to RSI in debate to get the water?
Conscious and struggling to breathe.
I mean, that,
Yeah, oh yeah, no,
I mean,
yes.
and it would that be considered traumatic,
traumatic
intubation? Traumatic intubation, or would I have to
Yeah,
call,
I think you need
Or
a
medical.
call for that?
I would call it a traumatic.
That's a medical
Unconscious,
emergency.
immediately pulled out of the water, intubation, I would call it traumatic. They were pulled out of the water, went home, they're found a couple hours later, I would call that a medical. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because that one's a phone call, one's not.
Yes, exactly. And that's why if you're at home and yada, 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 it's not an event that's happening right now that caused it, then that's when we go with the call. Okay. Alright, cool. Alright, with that being said, we'll end with that. Any questions?
Are there specialty concerns for if it's a peds drowning versus an adult with suctioning? So like if you go on baby in a sink, are you going to suction?
I would suction the same way I would a normal pediatric.
Right.
I'm not gonna suction
this one is in
I'm not gonna suction
coma.
like a pediatric.
You're not gonna be concerned.
Well,
with
would that
the
will
collapse of
include
the
people?
lung, like,
Well,
down the
So
ET2?
he's in a medically induced
Yeah,
coma.
you suction,
Probably the best
well,
thing
are you
for
gonna be
me.
able to suction down to
I'm assuming
ET2,
the doctor.
pediatric, depending on the,
If you're in the ET tube and with the suction catheter,
there you go. Don't even aspirate.
Four bigger, right?
So that's, so depending, if they're small enough to be in a sink, probably a pretty small kid. And so you're not gonna be able to pass that suction catheter.
Oh, I like your
through the
pants.
ET tube.
There you go.
Got it.
So then you have to turn the ET tube into a plutonium aspirator. That